Right, speaking of Gen AI, it's time now to take a look at the promise and pitfalls of using Gen AI in HR while unveiling the GCC's first Gen AI-enabled comprehensive HR tech. Generative AI really is reshaping the way HR professionals approach talent management, employee engagement, and organizational growth. And overall, it really is changing the way that we work. Well, before we start, let's take a quick look at this video.
We are an unstoppable force. What makes us strong? The human connect. Through time, we move on. Even when the world is in free fall, we evolve. Technology drives our evolution. Through life, changing work life. From office spaces to workplaces. From skills to capabilities. From employees to a talent workforce. From an endless loop to a full circle. And that is who we are. We bring your people together across locations, cultures, boundaries. To find joy through your experiences, to find meaning, your purpose. And as you evolve, so do we. We see the future through your eyes, and we bring it to life now. We are your momentum, your liftoff. We are your evolution. We are PeopleStrong.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, to tell us more, it's a great pleasure to welcome our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming Mrigank Tripathi, President of Growth at PeopleStrong.
Am I audible, folks? People at the back? Yeah? Thank you very much. That is one of the first times that my name has been pronounced right in the Middle East. Thank you so much for that. For all of you who are here, I see some friends, I see some acquaintances, I see a lot of new faces. It's a pleasure being here. Just so that all of you don't have to go through that, let me just say it out loud. My name is Mrigank Tripathi. I'm the President of Growth for PeopleStrong. For all of you, if you find that difficult, you can call me MT. That's what every friend of mine in the Middle East actually calls me, right? So don't worry, MT it is for all of you. I can see that there are a lot of you who may or may not have actually been introduced to PeopleStrong, so I thought I'll just very quickly give you a quick introduction about who we are. So we're basically one of Asia's largest HR technology companies. We've been around for about 15 odd years. We work with over 500 plus large enterprises. We're very, very focused towards the overall talent side of it here in the GCC for about 3 years now and have been growing quite rapidly, right? Today we have about 2 million users. The way that we look at our technology, and I'm not going to make this into a sales pitch, I just want this to be an introduction to you all so that you actually understand who is this person, what is PeopleStrong all about. We do all of this. We do core, we do everything else. The way that we look at technology is, from our perspective, core is now something that all of you have already solved for. It's not a problem, right? I mean, leave in attendance, exit, basic details. These are not the issues where you really need to actually invest time, money, or resource. The problems occur in the top quadrant, the talent acquisition, the strategic HR side of it, talent acquisition, talent management, payroll, or even experience. And we've really been investing a hell of a lot of effort, time, and money into making those into absolute arrowheads for our customers. And that's really what a lot of our customers over here have been using. Today, we're used by over 500 odd enterprises. So these are just some of the names. As you can see, all of these are fairly large enterprises. And we don't we typically, with all humility and respect, I think that the organization itself is structured in a manner that we are better suited to be able to help you with larger problems, help large enterprises smoothen out their processes, systems, and bring everybody on board, be it from a talent perspective, be it from a recruitment perspective, be it from a payroll perspective, or even the employee perspective, employee experience perspective, right? In the Middle East, we've been doing two different types of things. There have been companies who have come to us and said, look, we've already got a core, right? I've got an existing system that is already working with me. I can't do that, but I have a huge amount of problem happening in performance management, in talent management, in recruitment, or even in the experience side of it. So the ones on this side, which is really a bolt-on journey, because we are modular, we've been able to pull out a specific product or a specific module and give it to them and say, and they've been using it, right? These are some of the names that you see: Fly Dubai, Transom, KPMG, Sonomi in Saudi. All of these are our customers today who are using these, who are using it as is. The second is a completely transformative journey. People don't want to work with clunky systems. They want better user experience. They want cutting-edge systems. They want to be able to do it easily, efficiently. They don't want to have to deal with employees calling them and say, hey, what's my leave balance? I mean, hand up for anybody who's ever experienced that. Does your organization get this meal? What's my leave balance? Anybody? Yes? There you go. So these are very transactional things. Why do you need to bother with all this? The system should be able to take care of that, right? So that's really what the transformative journey has been. And we're transforming all of these companies over here. We'd love to say a big shout out to all of these folks who've actually taken the step forward and partnered with us. And we're extremely happy to say that some of them have already gone live. So that's really where it's at, right? At PeopleStrong, we believe that we will be nothing if we don't listen to our customers, right? At the end of the day, what are we building products for? We're building it for our customers. People will keep on telling us things. And we realize that generative AI is a big buzzword that is actually coming. So we said, how are we going to really be including that in our overall product? And we thought long and hard about it, and then again, we said, hey, what can we do, how can we do it, and so on and so forth. And then again, we just basically said, the best way of doing this is to go back to our customers, ask them potentials, ask them, what are their big pain points? And when we went back, we realized that it's not the core that they wanted solved. It's the talent side of it, it's the acquisition side of it, it's the management side of it, it's the payroll queries, it's the experience of the employees that they wanted solved, right? So we went down that path. But before I actually talk a bit more about that, I want to take a step back. I just want to make sure that everybody in the room is very clear about how Gen AI actually works, right? So there are two types. There's a traditional AI, which recognizes patterns. It can learn from sample data, and you have to keep on feeding it again and again and again, and only then will it sort of come out and say, hey, look, I've got this. But it's only based on your data. It's based on a specific subset that you can provide. It's not across the entire internet. Generative AI understands context and generates content. Context bases all the information that is available out there in the World Wide Web, and bases that, it can generate content keeping your context in mind. Are we good so far? Any questions? No? Good. You would have seen a lot of things on LinkedIn. Maybe your organizations have already started using them in all of these areas, right? In sales, there's lots happening on the whole lead generation side. There's automated call reps happening. There was I saw an AI actually handle a full inbound call from a potential customer and actually tell them how they should actually be going through this whole thing. On the sales side, there's a lot happening. On the marketing side, you're actually generating images. You're actually setting up the entire websites. A whole host of things is happening. Customer success. How do you actually ensure that AI can actually reduce your overall transaction load and just make it very, very simple? Somebody mails in milliseconds, the answer goes back using generative AI. Knowledge management, design, all of these are verticals where generative AI is already there. And if you look at the models over here, literally on a monthly basis, we see 2 new models coming out, right? And these are all models which are the LLMs that actually exist out there, the large language models, people who have looked at it in their own specific manner, right? That's how we do it. Now, the big question is, what does it take to build a generative AI model for HR? And while it should seem fairly simple, what's the problem? You can do it for sales, why can't you do it for HR? The reason why you can't do it for HR very easily is because of all the data that exists. And that data is very proprietary to you. You cannot actually just make that content available to everybody on the internet, because the minute you do that, all that content is now also being used by your competitors. Your board's not going to allow it. Take it from me in writing. So that was the big quandary that we actually had. How do we do that? And we went about doing it saying, hey, we need to build a model which has got 4 layers. The first is the general intelligence, which is the core. We need to bring everything down to the core, which is the LLM. The second is HR domain knowledge, which is what we have. We work with 500 large enterprises. So at least in Asia, we can very safely say that if there is knowledge for enterprises that's available, it's most probably there with us, right? That's the second part, right? And the third is your context. What's the employee information? What are your grades, your bands? What's the context that you're in? What industry are you in? All of this stuff is already with us because you're using us. It's not already with us. It would be with us if you were using our system, right? So that context is there. But the most important element of this is the security layer. We will ensure that no information of yours gets passed off to the open internet without there being the relevant type of information being passed. The context is what goes, your information doesn't. And using that, we were then able to create our own generative AI HR model. It's already in use with some companies. We've already launched it. But over here, I wanted to introduce this in a specific way. And I wanted to talk to you a bit more about what are the type of use cases that you can potentially see from this, right? So what we've done is we've actually embedded it across the entire talent landscape. We haven't said, look, if you want to do core, come to us. No. If you want to do something which is related to your employees, your talent, because we all understand that today the war is not about how many leaves do you have or regularize your attendance. That's not the war. The war is how do you retain your talent? The questions that your talent is asking you, how do you actually answer for those? And that's really where we've actually gone about doing this. So these are all the areas where we've embedded generative AI, right? Completely embedded it and made it very, very simple. So let's take the first example. And I'm just going to very, very quickly just show you a few examples of this. So say performance, right? Now, a show of hands, if anybody over here, when you roll out the performance management in your company and you ask everybody to put up their goals and objectives and key results and blah, 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 how long does it typically take? Less than 3 months. Less than 3 months. Less than 2 months. Less than 1 month. Less than 15 days. Less than a week. Okay, we stopped at a month. Less than a month, you're not able to do it. And even when you do it, what actually happens is you'll have, pardon the language, you'll have crappy goals being put in, right? You don't necessarily have them absolutely aligned. You don't have everything lining up to exactly what the business objectives are. How do you do that? So can you not have to send emails? And this was again, customer feedback to us. This is a big pain problem. How do we do it? How do we reduce it? Because it's just a huge headache for us to go after all our employees and say, hey, please fill up your goals. Forget about even filling up the data of the goals. Just make your goals at the beginning of the year. It takes us 2 years, 2 months to do it. So what we did was we introduced generative AI, right? And here's how it works. Take a look. This is now the CEO. The person has said, here are my top 3 objectives. We made it top down. And these are the other 3 people who are actually going to be, the CEO has now said, just make the goals for them. And generative AI makes it. Keeping their context in mind, keeping the company context in mind, keeping their past record in mind, keeping their past sales in mind, keeping their past track records in mind, keeping what is actually required by the company, keeping what the growth trends are in the industry, keeping all of that in mind, it has generated these. I mean, of course, you always have the option of editing them, but you see what it's done. Now it's just turned the table. You don't have to go bottom up, you can go top down, and you can actually just literally have your entire company set up in less than a week. And that too, if you wanted it, you could just literally say, okay, done, 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 and you're through with it. Not only does it actually enhance your time to market with your performance systems, it also gives you better goals, more contextual goals, better results from an overall perspective, right? So this is one example. So you could actually literally, CEO says it, cascade them across the company, 7 days done, right? So that's one simple problem I've solved. I'm not trying to, again, sell this to you. These are just some problems that we have actually solved. I'll give you another example, right? Let's look at a talent coach. So when we went back to our customers, one of the things that we actually asked them is, tell us, what do employees tell you when they leave? Why are they leaving? Why do employees leave? And the number one answer that we got to that was, when an employee leaves, they'll turn around and say, I don't see any growth over here. Has anybody heard that before? Yes? I don't see any growth. Do employees come over here and see that? Now, the problem could be wherever. The problem could be, it could be a career path has not been set up. It could be that the manager is wrong. It could be that nobody's actually talked to that person. Whatever that is, there is a problem that exists. And this is not a finger-pointing session. The problem exists in every single company. I'm pretty sure that exists in, the last company on earth would also have the same thing. I don't see a growth. Why? Because transparency is not there. Because you don't have somebody that you can go to directly and say, hey, I don't want to do this job. I want to do something else. But can GenAI help? Let's see how that works. So this is our chatbot, right? And you have a talent coach. Now the person is asking, I just want a alternate career path. The guy's a product manager. They're able to actually tell you that your skills that your skill fit is this much. Now, basis that, it'll say, hey, your areas of improvement are these. Recommend me some courses. Because learning is also intertwined in this, you actually can get to saying, here are the courses for you to do. Person lines up, and bam, the person's on his way. We've actually seen a reduction in attrition. We've actually seen an enhancement in productivity. Basis this, right? I'm not just saying this because, this is a nice to have type of thing. But it is actually happening. Now, this is not all. The same use case could also be used for the person moves into a new role. A person moves into a new role, it typically takes them 3 months or about that much to even get started to be able to do something good. The system, if it's a talent coach, think of it like saying, hey, just start walking. I'm your concierge. I'm here with you in your hand. Whatever you require, I'm here. The entire company's knowledge is here. Your best interest is here, right over here. Whatever you want to ask it. How can I perform better? What should I be actually doing? Whatever type of question you want, ask it. And it'll give it to you in your context, right? So that's another use case that we had. So personalized, contextual, always available. Very, very good things to have for employees. Again, how do you sort of make it available on your mobile, in your context, directly from the system? All great stuff, right? I mean, from an employee perspective, it's great. Then we went to the CHROs. The CHROs said, boss, all of this is all very well and good. But where is my data? I don't have any data. I have problems in pivots, and I have Excel sheets and reams of sheets available, but I'm not able to just understand what the hell to do. What should I be doing? So we said, okay, let's look at some analytics side, right? Now, again, on the chatbot, AI-powered analytics, ask a query. Suggest me top 4 areas what I should focus on in my compensation cycle. Relevant question, I would say. What should I be doing in my next compensation cycle? Basis my analysis, here is what you're doing all right, okay? More insights on internal equity. It can keep on going in a conversation, and it'll keep on telling you more and more and more, till the time that you say, okay, you've got all of this, right? Are we paying people commensurate? Basis your compensation and the value that they're providing. How do you assert value? Value basis performance, right? If I'm not performing, but I'm getting top dollar, I shouldn't be top G. I shouldn't be, but I am. Now over here, departments where we are paying more. All of this is data that's with us. All that we've done is we've ensured that security exists, your context exists, HR exists, and now you can see this. These are 5 employees whom we are paying more than industry standard. And here's what their performance is. I think the answer is fairly clear for the CHRO, right? What should they be doing? They need to sort of sort out a few things. All of this data has existed since time, well, not time immemorial, since the time that you've actually had an HR tech system. The only problem is you've never been able to get to it. You've never been able to analyze it. You've never been able to get to the right depth of it or ask it questions the way that you would your assistant, for example, or your data analyst. You can't do that. Now you can, using our Gen AI system. Yeah? So, I mean, you can have these analytics. We're doing all of this across all of these elements, and we've combined everything together. So, across that entire spectrum that you saw, which is everything from recruitment to core HR to everything else, you can do this. So, if in recruitment you could create job descriptions, core HR, new joiner engagement, coach promotion, learning, create articles and learning, all of this is possible on the system. I'm not going into depths of it simply because I have a bit of a restriction of time, but you understand what I'm saying, right? That we've literally gone in and said, here is a use case, it's there, it's developed, and it's available to you, right? That's what I wanted to say. I seem to have sort of done fairly well on my time. Thank you. Thank me, Gauri, later for this. I'm here. We're here at the PeopleStrong booth. Please do visit us. If there are any questions, I do have a bit of time, so I can take a few questions if there are any. Any questions? No? Thank you. Any questions? No. Got it. Do please visit us. Take a look at the system yourselves and see what we can do together. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Have a good day.